Hang in there, lovers of Beyond the Gates. We're coming to the end of this latest rerun week, and that has us just 4 days out from new episodes on our screens of choice. We'll learn if Allison sliced up Chelsea like her wedding cake, if Ted played Leslie by giving her his house, and if Jacob, Kat, and Madison really got up close and personal with a truck on their way to Virginia. In the meantime, since it's hard to look forward, many of us are looking back over this new successful Sudzer and making queries and observations about details that might have slipped by in day-to-day viewing. Ashley Morgan is one of fans' least favorite characters, but what if the reason Ash is bland is because she's involuntarily fighting back darker genetic impulses? After all, we don't know who her father is, or do we? Let's go beyond the gates of Ashley's DNA. As character histories go, we know precious little about Ashley's. We are privy to the fact that her mom is the turquoise-loving Jan Morgan, and she's giving hippie in every scene. Maybe the flower child thing isn't just fashion. Maybe she was more of a free spirit coming up, and that's why Jan taught Ashley to be more rigid and to be a seeker of stability. Did Jan not, just a few weeks ago, encourage Ash to take Derek back after that relationship was dead, mainly because of his reliability? Now, there is only an assumption there that Jan's last name is Morgan. We don't know if she was married, if she gave her daughter a boyfriend's last name, or if that's the maiden moniker she goes by. An important clue, because it tips the scale of Ashley's paternity in one way or the other. The only additional major detail we've been told about Jan is that she worked within Fairmont Crest at one point. Oh, and that there was once a man in Jan's life who rejected her despite Jan changing herself to earn the man's love. Yeah, it's understandable why Jan might not have wanted to pass on that particular codependent trait. And it's not to say that this dude is the cad who fathered Ashley. The man whose child Jan carried could have been the sweetest, the nicest. But if that's so, why didn't he stick around? On-screen tellings have also let us know that Jan largely raised Ashley as a single parent. Did this dude beef it? If Jan subscribed to the free love aspects of hippiedom, her daughter's father could be anybody. Yet what if the opposite is true? That Jan's heart was broken into so many pieces by her paramour that she just has never been able to bring herself to get involved again? Jan's single, we know that. And the surface-level impression is that she's been flying solo for quite some time. Here's a working theory. Suppose Ashley's father is Joey Armstrong? Hey, nothing says it couldn't be, especially with the only specific man in Jan's past to be mentioned is the one she pointlessly reinvented herself for. And doesn't Joey seem just like the kind of guy who could hit it and quit it? Maybe Jan toiled as a waitress at the casino or worked one of the gambling tables, then took a shine to the big boss. Vanessa can tell you he's charismatic as hell. And how about, after a brief fling, he just decided he was done with Jan? Either he could have dumped her for being pregnant, or he could have been so awful that she never bothered to tell him he was going to be a father. This would also track because of just how goody two-shoes Ashley is. Think the pre-Thomas Hope Logan, again of B&B, who for years was saccharine as all get out, in contrast to Daddy Deacon Sharp's reprobate corpuscles pulsing through her veins. It's not absolutely established that Ashley knows who her papa is. She could be unwittingly compensating for having a dark side, aided by Jan concealing a desperate attempt to not have her only child turn out like that rotten escort service proprietor. If there's merit to this line of family tree tracing, wouldn't it be a kick for Ashley to discover just how murky her gene pool is? Maybe she mouths off to Shanice one time too many and gets fired from the hospital, and, out of desperation, she takes a job at the casino, even falls into the clutches of heart attach just because it makes more money. Joey, of course, not knowing he even has a daughter, doesn't take notice of the name Ashley Morgan being in his service, but then he has to rescue her from, say, a rough customer, and it leads to them finding out they're related. Imagine the shocktastic drama. And it could very well jolt Ashley out of her Pollyanna personality. What do you think, y'all? Did Joey and Jan get jiggy with it? Is Ashley the secret love child of this show's version of a mob boss? Or do you think Pop is somebody completely different? Fill out the Father's Day card known as the comments below. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, Today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. We know, Beyond the Gates fans, the intertwining sagas of the Duprees, Hamiltons, Richardsons, Hawthorns, and others being on hiatus totally blows. There's nothing we can do about that, but we can spend these next few days until new episodes kick in on Monday, thinking about the 123 episodes that have aired since our newest soap tore out of the gate. See what I did there? One of its biggest ponderables so far revolves around Dupree diva Dani and her rebounds with Smirnoff and Jack Daniels. You thought she was only dallying with Andre? Dani was headed straight for being Lush Fairmont Crest's resident lush, until she wasn't. Which begs the question, is Dani an alcoholic? Pretty much from the first episode, ex-wife with an axe to grind, Dani was seen slugging him back in an attempt to deal with her feelings of sadness, bitterness, and rejection regarding Bill leaving her for Haley. Though we didn't see Dani boozing it up before Haley readied to say her vows to Bill, Dani being 3 sheets to the wind certainly would explain why she whipped out a gun during the ceremony and attempted to use the bride and groom for target practice. One almost has to be drunk to have one's inhibitions lowered that far. There was no mistaking Dani's affair with alcohol in subsequent episodes, though. While the new Hamiltons were on their honeymoon, Dani sweet-talked her way into Bill's freshly purchased digs and downed so much of his liquor, she passed out on his couch. Then, in her own home, Dani nursed a vodka bottle like an infant nurses formula, to the point Andre found Dani unconscious in her kitchen. After she woke up, she had a bit of a wake-up and call and let her liquid courage flow down the drain, only to re-up her supply and drunkenly cry over her old modeling photos. Dani even went so far as to make a breakfast screwdriver at the country club by generously pouring vodka into her morning OJ. And, while the beverage was briefly left behind, Vernon could smell the proof in the pulp. Later, Dani had to force herself not to pop bottles, though Andre did come across her drunk one more time. It was only after Ride or Die, Pamela got Dani going on Operation Gemstone, a plan to help her rise above bumming over Bill and get her groove back, that Dani seemed to loosen her crazy glue grip on the sauce. That was in mid-April. We are now in September. And though we've watched Dani partaking several times since then, it's always been in a more usual, less dependent way. Vernon never brought his concerns to Anita, or Dani herself, and both Pamela and Andre have seen Dani drink with nary a worry that she might be stepping closer to 12-step. So, what happened there? Though all signs were leaning toward Dani entering an alcoholism storyline, it could very well be that she was merely taking a few weeks to work out her ugly feelings about Bill divorcing her for someone 20-plus years younger, in a fermented fashion. There doesn't have to be any addiction in play for that to happen. But given how often we saw Dani sloshed, or in the process of reaching that goal, it felt like there was more there. Girlfriend was 2 gulps away from hiding bottles in the tanks of her toilets. That being the case, how was Dani suddenly able to stop the excessiveness cold turkey? And if she indeed had the ism that makes one susceptible to alcoholism, should she even be drinking at all now, whether at parties, family gatherings, powwowing with Pamela, or on her own? It feels like our group of Gates writers simply forgot that Dani was charging into a drinking problem like the proverbial bull in a liquor shop, which is unusual because this show has been very good about following up on its storyline hints and not leaving much in the way of loose ends once an arc does wrap up. Consider the saga of the 3 women Mike Davis sexually harassed, being settled in court, she and the Articulates finally having their concert after months of their claws being out. Doesn't it also rather send a bad message that one can struggle with alcoholism and then suddenly just cure themselves? Alcohol use disorder is a legitimate ailment with physiological factors. It can rewire the brain and do damage to the brain after that. Not to mention, there's a genetic component to it that increases risk. Typically, recovery isn't just a matter of putting a drink down. Support groups and/or therapy have been helpful for millions, and there are also medications now that can aid in making chemical changes in the brain to combat the dependency. For Dani to be a literal fall-down drunk one day and walking around the next as if she wasn't, well, in Alcoholics Anonymous circles, she would be called a functional alcoholic or a dry drunk. The firewater might not be as prevalent, but the physical and psychological facets of the disease haven't gone anywhere. What do you think? Is this all reading too much into a few weeks of story? Or do you think Danny has a problem that hasn't been dealt with? Would you like to see this addressed directly? Or are you fine with it not coming up again? Pour all your thoughts into the comments section below. Beyond the Gates returns with all new episodes starting September 8th, 2025. And from the sound of it, some major surprises are on the way. From Ted ending up in bed with someone surprising to a couple taking a bold step toward marriage, things are about to get intense. Swoon released a preview of what's coming up for the couples this September. Soap Opera News breaks it down for you. Here's what to expect. Their marriage has been on the rocks for a while, but things may finally be turning around. Amid all the chaos, this couple finds their way back to each other, just as another duo starts inching closer to something more. Nicole has officially filed for divorce, which means she's ready to move on with her life. Ted wasn't hoping for this, but is he truly ready to move on too? According to Swoon, Ted ends up with someone very surprising in his bed. Any guesses who it might be? Haley Lawson is determined to hold on to Bill. She's not about to let him go back to Danny, or let anyone else have him, apparently. So, she hatches a seductive little plan designed to spark some serious jealousy in Bill. Will it work? Despite his growing connection with Eva, Tomas Navarro is pulling out all the stops for a romantic night with Kat Richardson. But he's not the only one making bold moves this month. One couple takes a gamble with a walk down the aisle, while another pair of lovers solidifies their relationship during a trip to Puerto Rico. The high-powered attorney has learned just how out of the loop he is with his family. For much of this year, Beyond the Gates Bill Hamilton has been on the bad side of the Duprees. He caused chaos and devastation when he left Danny and married Haley, Naomi's former bestie. His relationship with his daughter suffered, and the rest of the family had no more time for him, except when they needed the fixer. Since Chelsea's kidnapping, Bill has spent a lot of time at Vernon and Anita's mansion. As a result, he's learned some truths. Plus, he's gotten closer to Danny. Bill Hamilton is a high-powered attorney who's often called on to clean up messes of the highest order. The Duprees have reluctantly counted on him over the years, but now, since Chelsea was kidnapped, he's finding that he has to rely on their support during this trying time. He's had to spend some quality time at Anita and Vernon's palace, and he's felt powerless and helpless as he waited for news of his and Danny's daughter. At the same time, he's learned a few things he didn't know before. Since Bill has been spending so much time with the Duprees, he must see that they're showing him more respect as Chelsea's dad. He's not pushing Haley on them or manipulating them into accepting and respecting her. Because right now, this wasn't about Haley. It was about Chelsea. Plus, no matter what Nicole says, he is the family fixer. Unfortunately, that flew out the door when Haley's entitled self stood right by his side in the Dupree home. Haley's presence at Vernon's and Anita's home irritated him. She was ready to stand by her man, even though her man told her to stay home. Bill might be opening his eyes to the fact that Haley isn't being sensitive to the family, who is going through pain right now, because she only thinks about her own. In addition, Bill might be opening his eyes to his connection with Danny. That connection doesn't die, and even though he doesn't deserve Danny, she's leaning on him to help her through this trying time. Will this last? Is their bond repairing itself and getting stronger? On Tuesday, September 9th, the episode of CBS's newest podcast, Soapy, hosted by Rebecca Budig and Greg Rickhart, welcomes Karla Mosley to their show. Currently starring on Beyond the Gates, Mosley is also well known for her groundbreaking role on The Bold and the Beautiful. Can't wait till the 9th? No problem. We've got the exclusive preview. In an exclusive clip of next week's episode of the CBS podcast, Soapy hosted by Rebecca Budig and Greg Rickhart, Karla Mosley joins the legendary soap stars and hosts to talk about her role on the groundbreaking new CBS Sudzer, taking the genre by storm, Beyond the Gates, as well as her flourishing career in television and film. The triple threat actress recently showed off her singing chops as well, both on Beyond the Gates and at soap star-studded fundraiser Daytime at Night. The sky is the limit for Mosley, but she talks candidly about her career thus far and what it was like to transition from other genres back to soaps. In the clip, Budig notes that there can be a stigma about soaps in the industry, although it's such a fun genre to be in. Mosley had taken a break between being on Guiding Light for a year and her role as Maya on The Bold and the Beautiful, which she played for 7 years. The freedom that I feel is just making me fall in love with the genre in an even deeper way, she explains. I think casting in soaps is incredible because not only do they find excellent actors, but they also find good people. And I've had the best time working, with these families, Mosley added. She said there was nothing better than being in the lives of her co-stars and being able to be in Beyond the Gates fans' homes daily as well. Soapy is a new audio and video podcast that dives deep into the legacy, fandom, and enduring appeal of soap operas. Hosted by daytime veterans Rebecca Budig and Greg Ricart, Soapy features lively, nostalgic conversations with beloved, past and present stars and creatives from across the entire soap opera community and all networks and platforms, including daytime and primetime. Closing out its successful first season, the last 4 episodes of Soapy will include interviews with Karla Mosley, Scott Clifton, Melody Thomas Scott, Cameron Matheson, and Eva LaRue. Soapy is available on Odyssey or wherever podcasts are found, and you can watch the full video episodes on the CBS brand YouTube channel. Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal the soap's preview for the week of September 8 and 11 just dropped, and Allison will attack Chelsea Hamilton with a knife, while Catherine Kat Richardson and Jacob Hawthorne get into a car accident. It's important to note that the daytime drama is airing reruns for the week of September 5th, which is why the promo for the following week is being outlined. The video opens with Vanessa McBride and Joey Armstrong making out at the casino, and as Joey rips off Vanessa's clothes, Doug McBride walks through the door. In a voiceover, Joey states, he has no issues lying to Doug if it'll bring Vanessa back to him, where she belongs. As the scenes shift, Nicole Richardson is shown next, asking Ted Richardson if he needs applause. As she starts sarcastically clapping, she walks away, looking visibly upset. Fans know that during the Friday, August 29th episode, Ted tried to fix the Leslie Thomas problem. The woman wanted to buy the mansion across the street from Vernon Dupree and Anita Dupree, so Ted offered up his house. Unfortunately, the move may make Nicole far more upset with him than before. As the BTG video progresses, Eva Thomas is having a serious chat with Leslie in their apartment. Leslie is emotional as she starts talking, and then breaks down in tears, saying, I'm not some low-class junk. I am somebody. Eva brings her mom in for a hug. Will the soap start to show a softer side to Leslie? As the Beyond the Gates preview continues, Vernon, Anita, Bill Hamilton, Haley Hamilton, Naomi Hawthorne, and Danny Dupree are all in the Dupree family mansion, hovering as Anita is having a video chat on her phone with Kat. The young woman tells Anita that, I'll text you the address, as the Dupree matriarch replies, Yes, please. Right after this, Kat screams, Jacob, look out for that truck. Will Kat and Jacob get into a collision as they are trying to save Chelsea Hamilton? Lastly, as the video closes, Allison is shown holding a knife, trying to stab Chelsea in the cabin, as Chelsea is struggling to keep her away. Chelsea screams, Crazy ass, bitch, I've had it with you, just as the video ends. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest things will get worse for Chelsea before they get better, as she's clearly in a fatal situation right now, dealing with this unhinged stalker of hers. A new BTG promo brings up new questions. Beyond the Gates is in the middle of another repeat week. As Soap Hub reported, CBS is having a week of reruns focusing on the Eva and Leslie reveal that blew up Ted and Nicole's anniversary party. The show may be on a new episode break, but CBS is promoting its return like crazy. In fact, a recent promo caused a frenzy as 2 major cliffhangers were revealed. Before the hiatus, Psycho Allison was holding Chelsea hostage. The two were entangled in a fight as Chelsea was fighting off a knife-wielding Allison. After the cliffhanger, a promo for the return week showed fans a few different teases, including Kat and Jacob potentially getting in an accident. We also saw Chelsea battling her stalker Allison as she loses patience with the nut job. However, a newly released BTG teaser seems to have spoiled what happens between the two women. The new video has a voiceover saying she survived a nightmare, before a flip of the scene shows Allison looking crazier than ever in an orange jumpsuit in police custody. Chelsea stares down her kidnapper as a voiceover warns that this may not be the end. A flip of the scene features Vernon saying, "Dear God, what have we done?" The clip BTG doesn't just spoil the Chelsea and Allison drama, but also reveals that Kat is fine following the maybe accident. Kat stands next to Vernon as he makes his big declaration about the family's actions. All signs point to a network mix-up. The last preview video was likely intended to run sometime next week rather than this week. Beyond the Gates spoilers hint that fans are a little disappointed at more reruns during the week of September 5. After all, it was a mere 2 months back, during the week of June 30th and July 4th, that the CBS soap did this, and it feels as if every time a storyline gets good, the show is off for a week, leaving BTG viewers frustrated. Karla Mosley, who plays Danny Dupree on the soap, recently offered social media fans an explanation as to why there are so many hiatuses with the show. Karla Mosley was replying to a fan on Instagram, and Isa, on X, screenshotted the explanation and posted it on her account. Mosley explained that the reruns are a bummer, but it's because of the number of episodes Beyond the Gates has filmed, as it is a new soap. Mosley states that this upcoming year, the show will shoot 238 episodes versus the 200 they filmed during Season 1. The actress adds that the year after, the new daytime drama is slated to shoot 250 episodes, which is par for the genre. Mosley reminds everyone in the reply that the other soaps on air today have been around for 40 to 50 years, along with some of the producers, actors, and crew members. She assured fans that they are hot on everyone's heels, so as the years go by, these hiatuses will be a thing of the past. Beyond the Gates debuted on February 24th of this year, a mere 6 months ago, so Mosley's explanation makes sense. However, it feels as if just as a storyline is getting good, the show goes on hiatus. Right now, stalker Allison has Chelsea Hamilton chained to a bed in an unknown cabin. While it appears that a rescue will take place during the week of September 8-12, a promo also suggests that a massive fallout will occur in the aftermath. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that another week of reruns, off the cusp of a week of reruns in late June/early July, has had fans speculating on whether or not the new CBS soap could be on the brink of cancellation. BTG creator and head writer Michelle Valjean recently set the record straight. BTG spoilers remind fans that the daytime drama is re-airing shows the week of September 5 that center around Nicole Richardson's and Ted Richardson's anniversary party that went off the rails. On September 1st, Valjean hopped on the social media platform X and posted this: "Walking into tomorrow in a not great mood. Just saying." A concerned fan, at Kristalina3315, replied to Valjean's tweet, noting, "Did CBS canceled #Beyond the Gates? That's why you are not in a great mood?" Valjean quickly responded to at Kristalina3315 with a simple "No." She also posted a new tweet that stated, "Just an FYI, everything I say here isn't necessarily about the show. Sometimes it's just about me." The bad news is that it seems like Valjean was having a bad day on Monday, but the good news is that Beyond the Gates is not being canceled. While fans do have to suffer through reruns this week, the cast has been posting on social media while filming on the set, so there is more drama to come in the land of Fairmont Crest. Beyond the Gates will return with new shows the week of September 8-12, and it looks like viewers should brace for some bombshells. 2 promo videos have been released, indicating some explosive moments leading up to Chelsea Hamilton's rescue and the traumatic aftermath of her kidnapping. While reruns are a bummer, it sounds like the week of September 8th will be worth the wait. What storyline are you most interested in right now? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out CTS often for the best Beyond the Gates updates, spoilers, and news. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that after 5 days of reruns, the week of September 8-12 will be explosive. as Chelsea Hamilton will be rescued from her hostage situation. With that said, it looks like the damage could be done where her mental health is concerned. Just a kidnapping could trigger anyone's trauma. But Allison did play a ton of mind games on the social media influencer and purse designer during the entire ordeal. The BTG preview video opens with a voiceover that says, "She survived a nightmare," as a scene of Allison attacking Chelsea with a knife from last week is shown. As the promo progresses, Chelsea is shown safe and sound, getting a hug from Anita Dupree, as the grandmother exclaims, very emotionally, "Oh, thank God, our prayers are answered." As the Beyond the Gates promo goes on, the voiceover is heard continuing with, but can she survive what's next?" As the scenes shift, Allison is shown sitting down in a chair at the police station, with that odd wide-eyed look she gives, as Jacob Hawthorne is next to her, and Dr. Madison Montgomery and Chelsea face her stalker. Madison asks Chelsea, "Baby, are you all right?" Chelsea looks utterly terrified as she stares down at Allison. Will Chelsea be okay? She may need to talk to someone, so it's a good thing her Aunt Nicole Richardson is a therapist. As the BTG preview video comes to a close, Vernon Dupree is shown at his mansion, with Catherine "Cat" Richardson by his side. The Dupree patriarch exclaims, "What have we done?" Both Cat and Vernon look shocked. So what kind of error in judgment have they made? Beyond the Gates spoilers note that this may have to do with Chelsea, and it sounds like the Dupree family won't exactly follow police protocol when rescuing her, so could Allison walk away from this mess without facing any legal repercussions? Beyond the Gates being in reruns this week certainly makes one thing possible. It gives us more time to reflect on what we've seen so far since the Soothsayers' February premiere. The hallmark of a good soap is that for every answer we get, at least two more questions arise. And this trope is something our Fairmont Crest faves have been quite good at, making us delirious with curiosity about only hinted-at details. While we're revisiting Leslie's exposure of Ted at his May anniversary party, how about we delve into this second installment, exploring the show's unresolved queries? In this case, speaking of Leslie, who on earth is her father? Until recently, no one ever gave a second thought to any family Leslie might have, nor was it necessary to. Dana Leslie Thomas breezed into D.C. with her wigs and her personas and her many axes to grind. Who had time to consider she might have relatives in between all her deliciously entertaining shenanigans? In fact, it was only in late July, as the much ballyhooed Articulettes reunion concert moved up the calendar, when Leslie finally made a most casual mention about her mother. Apparently, Mama Leslie had all of the Articulettes' records, and Leslie proved to be just as much of a superfan, apparently wearing out the vinyl with her repeated listenings of albums and singles. But with the sudden influx of letters Leslie believed to be scams in envelopes, announcing that she was entitled to a sizable inheritance, came the first sightings of roots in Leslie's family tree. For one thing, a dying woman named Peaches arrived on Leslie's doorstep, swearing that the bequeathment notifications were legit. She should know. She was Leslie's mother. Except Psyche. Not only was Peaches not the woman's given name, she wasn't even Leslie's birth mother. No, that honor went to one Barbara Mitchell, only the founding member of the Articulettes. And, because the girl group's lead singer, Anita Dupree, out of her guilt in facilitating Barbara's dismissal from the act before they'd even cut their first record, had tucked away bajillions of dollars for Barbara's family to reflect the royalties that Barbara would have received, the always broke Leslie was now one rich bitch. Let the spending sprees begin. One major resulting question has already begun to get lost under country club memberships, and Leslie's attempt to buy the mansion across the way from the Duprees, though many of you have not allowed that blank to disappear completely. And that is, who on earth is Leslie's father? All we know about the circumstances of Leslie's conception is that Barbara was extremely depressed at the time about her ejection from the Articulettes, and that Barbara so adamantly didn't want a child that she approached Peaches to raise it, under the condition that Peaches never get back in touch with her or tell Leslie who her natural mother was. Now, if Barbara's mental state was that bad, the odds that she was either in or pursued a relationship with a man plummet significantly. It seems more like Barbara might have had sex as a coping mechanism to make herself feel better, albeit temporarily. Still, severe depression and sex are not two things that usually go together. Could it be that Barbara was already pregnant when she was forced out of the articulates? And that condition added to her melancholy? We know that Dante Green was the manager of the group, and that he was the one who called for Barbara's removal. We also know that, for as much as they fuss and fight, remaining articulates Anita, Sharon, and Tracy all agree that Dante was the devil incarnate. Could Dante have impregnated Barbara? Maybe even raped her? That would certainly have contributed to Barbara's despair. Dante could have gotten rid of her over her carrying his child, with his claims that her voice wasn't up to par only an excuse. And Leslie had to have gotten her deviousness from somewhere. From what little we've heard about Barbara, it doesn't seem to have come from her. Lots of you have suggested that Vernon Dupree fathered Leslie. That doesn't seem as likely, at least not from what the former senator has told us. Vernon met Anita after the articulates were already big, and, by that point, Barbara was long gone from the group. Also, when Anita told Vernon how she felt her actions had led to Barbara killing herself, Vernon said he had never known Barbara. Sure, it's a soap. Vernon could have lied about all of that. But a senator, or even an up-and-coming senator whose family was based in Maryland, somehow knowing a poverty-stricken girl in the projects of Chicago well enough to get her pregnant? Plus, while we've seen that Vernon is able to coldly get down to business, the otherwise kindly grandfather type doesn't seem capable of that kind of deception. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.